Question number 9, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This question is to the Prime Minister and asks, is he confident that as Minister of Trade's actions in regards to the Trans-Pacific Partnership are in the interests of New Zealand?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Does he believe that investor-state dispute settlements are beneficial to countries and their governments? If so, why?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes, they can be. New Zealand has negotiated investor-state dispute settlement provisions in a number of FTAs that have been supported by this Parliament, including the ones with China, with ASEAN and Australia. And the primary reason for that, of course, is that they also support and protect New Zealand investors when they invest offshore, with other countries have similar provisions.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
How will New Zealanders benefit from their governments being able to be sued by foreign big businesses when nearly $1 billion has been paid out by foreign governments to overseas investors in these disputes brought under TPP-like agreements?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, firstly, I can't comment on whether the government can or would be sued. It would depend under TPP whether investor-state dispute settlements are provided for in the final agreement. But what I can say is the New Zealand government will not sign anything unless it's in the best interests of New Zealand. And secondly, as we have done so historically in the past, there's always been caveats within those dispute settlement provisions which allow us to carve out certain areas to protect New Zealand's best interests.
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
If in OECD states the average legal cost for governments involved in these disputes is $10 million New Zealand, but frequently rising to more than $40 million New Zealand, would he abandon the TPP if it provided foreign companies unfettered powers?
Order. Order. Would the Honourable Stephen Joyce please stop the continual barrage while the member is asking his question? And would the Right Honourable Winston Peters commence that question again?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If in OECD states the average legal cost for governments involved in these disputes per dispute is $10 million, but frequently rises to as much as nearly $40 million, would he abandon the TPP if it provided foreign companies unfettered powers to sue the New Zealand government? If not, why not?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me reaffirm what I said earlier. Firstly, New Zealand's not going to sign up to any free trade agreement, and that includes TPP, unless it's in New Zealand's interest to do that. Secondly, the major provisions within the TPP are currently being worked through. Third thing I would say is that TPP, as the member may or may not be aware, is a negotiated agreement between 12 different economies. On one of the pieces of research I saw recently, it's estimated that could be worth between $2 to $4 billion a year for the New Zealand economy. So I would say that is fairly strong evidence that it may well be in New Zealand's interest to do the deal.
Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
My question, having given him the facts, was, would he abandon the TPP if it provided foreign companies unfettered powers?
Listen very carefully to the question. I listened very carefully to the answer. The only part I think the Prime Minister could be asked to address is, will he abandon the negotiations of TPP? Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to question your ruling, but I think I've answered that question. I've said New Zealand will not sign something unless it's in its best interest to do so.
I don't actually think that does answer specifically the question. I think it's a relatively easy question to answer, but I'm not responsible for the quality of the answers that are given by any minister. If the Prime Minister wishes to add more, he's welcome to. If he doesn't, so be it. Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Well, try this one. If it's good enough for the US government to provide the up-to-date text to members of Congress, why won't he make the up-to-date text available to New Zealand's Parliament and MPs?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
We'll try this one. That's not the way we do it here.
So the question.
Order.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
What reason has he got for shutting out MPs and the New Zealand public from all knowledge of this secret deal if he hasn't got something significant to hide?
Speaker.
Order. Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, there's nothing to hide. We're in the process of a negotiation. To the best of my knowledge, that's the way things have always happened. Mr. Speaker, in the fullness of time, assuming a deal is concluded...
Order.
My underwear.
Interjections bringing in the Speaker. Interjections on 2 occasions bringing in the Speaker into the debate are unacceptable. Does the Prime Minister wish to conclude? Order. Does the Prime Minister wish to add anything further to the answer? I don't. Question number 10, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. I've called the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.